back, because my microphone broke, and this is only a temporary one, so don't worry. The sound quality will get better in a month or two's time when I get a new decent mic that I'm saving up for now. But until then, we're stuck with this. Also, I'm going to try to do this review with as few spoilers as possible. And I am aware that my views on this are somewhat unpopular, but I'm not going to try and address criticism to this point by point or do one of those things of telling people that they're not allowed to think what they want to think. I am only going to be able to tell you what I thought as I watched season 2 of Jessica Jones last week. So, without further ado, what did I think of it? Well, first of all, you have to know that I have a weakness for this type of fiction. I love this sort of stuff with the detective on the edge, this sort of film noir stuff. And yes, this is film noir. Film noir doesn't refer to a black and white filming style. Instead, when French critics coined the term, it referred to a type of story, and that is a dark story where morals are ambiguous and where it's unknown if there are any good guys or bad guys, or the lines are at least very, very blurred between the two. And that's what this neatly falls into. I also like this smart mouth detective thing. I do. Yeah, I'm not going to address criticism of a character because to me, the character just fits in. At least on the Netflix, the character as presented on the Netflix series does exactly what they want her to do. She's this smart-mouthed, almost Jen Rockford-esque in the way that she reacts to people who she thinks are wasting her time with problems that aren't really problems and not facing them. That exists in this Marvel universe and happens to have superpowers. Also, I found season 2, some people called it a really PC season. I found it to be exactly the opposite. All throughout the season, anyone who's politically correct, any politically correct calls, any mindset, this politically correct mindset we have these days of blame other people, and, it's not my fault, and I don't have to take responsibility for my own decisions, and I couldn't do anything else, therefore it absolves me of any guilt or anything negative fallout, or I had the best intentions, so you should forgive me. All that stuff is just rejected. Even the idea that there are people in society that we praise and we're shown that they can be self-serving and the worst people possible, but if they know how to present themselves to the public, they'll be praised. I mean, it's a very cynical thing, but it's not a worldview without hope. It simply says that you have to take responsibility for your actions, even if your actions were the only thing that could be done. Like, for instance, the spoilers for the end of season 1 if you haven't seen it, so I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to turn this off if you have not watched to the end of season 1 and seen that. Okay, even if it's something like killing Kilgrave, which no prison could hold him, and there was nothing else she could do to save all those people at the end of season 1. Even that, you still have to take responsibility for it and deal with the fallout from it. And that's something that, in the modern mindset, doesn't happen a lot. I mean, you just have to look at what happens these days when you see like a protest or something going on, and people get mad if their act of civil disobedience gets on the nerves of the civil authorities. It's like there is no sense of responsibility these days, and it shows that just because somebody is in a minority doesn't mean that they're right about something or that they are a good person. I mean, they can be the most messed up, selfish person, life-destroying person. They can destroy the lives of everyone around them, even people they claim to love. They can just destroy their lives, turn them into a killer through pure self-interest, and while still standing up and getting awards for advancing the cause of their kind, and thus it shows the foolishness of dividing people up into groups. One of the things that I love about this type of character that Jessica Jones is, and about this series, is that she doesn't divide people up like that. It's people are just people, and even when her worldview is that people are scummy, it's like she doesn't single out anyone as being particularly scummy than other people. And that's the other thing, is this is not a worldview without hope. To me, this is one of the more hopeful superhero shows I've ever seen. And I say that because I watched it all the way to the end, all 13 episodes. Now, yes, it's true that just because things end doesn't mean that it's happy, and it's true that even when you have the best intentions, you still have to live with the fallout of people maybe not wanting to talk to you because of the choices that you make. But why? But how could I say that this? So how could I say that this show is hopeful? Well, here's the thing. It really gets into her head. It really gets into Jessica's head, and it really shows that even if your brain is telling you that you're a scummy person, even if you're constantly being told you're a monster, even if some of the choices you have made are really bad and could confirm that, yes, you are a monster, yes, the world would be better off without you, yes, just give in, just do the wrong thing because you did it once. Most places, that's confirmed. That's like, well, if it feels good, do it. Or if you've gone down this path once, you may as well continue to go down it. This is actually very well explored with the character Londo Mollari in Babylon 5. Here, this whole thing is about pushing Jessica to that to that point where even her own brain is telling her, and I think it's a very uplifting message for anyone who's dealt with depression, anybody who's been suicidal, because it says, even if you've done some things, that's not an excuse to give up and stop trying to do the right thing. And in the end, you can still choose to do the right thing. You can still choose to go on and with your life, and you can still choose to try and choose normal life. And the last scene of this season, after everything she's been through, after dealing with all the fallout and all her decisions, and having to deal with the decisions other people made, and it getting to the point where she loses some of the most important people in her life because she's made bad decisions. She doesn't continue to make the bad decisions. This says, no, you can pull yourself up, and you can choose to do something different. And that's what she does by the end. This is all about dealing with the fallout from season 1 and the Defenders, and this is all about her. This is all about dealing with your past actions, and how even when you had the best intention, if your past actions result in something negative, you have to expect negativity from a negative reaction from other people, and there's nothing you can do about that. But don't give up, go on, and you can be better than what you were before. And that's the whole point of this, and it's extremely well put together in an intense, dramatic, mystery setting. Do I wish it was a couple episodes shorter? Yeah, kind of. But there are a lot of revelations. Is this the same as season 1? Oh no, it's not the same show as season 1, simply because you couldn't duplicate what happened with Kilgrave in season 1. That one intense thing where she had an external enemy that could force her to do things. This is all about, now, what is she actually willing to do, and since she's done those bad things, is she going to continue down this road? And once you make a poor decision, or once you make even a bad decision, will you continue to make bad decisions, or will you say, no, I made that one bad decision, but I'm not going to do that same thing again? And if you do something, even with the best intentions, that hurts somebody, are you willing to live with the fallout if you thought it was the best thing for them? Or if you thought you were protecting them, are you willing to live with the fallout of them never speaking to you again? And you have to be willing to live with basically, this is a call for personal responsibility. This show is a call for a personal responsibility, not looking up blindly to people just because of what special group they belong to. It's a call for people to turn around even if they think there's nothing in their life to turn around, even if their life has hit their lowest point. And so, yes, it can be a very depressing show because it has to show people reaching that low point. It has to show our hero reaching that low point where even her own brain is screaming at her that she's a monster and that people would be better off without. But in the end, it says you don't have to go on with that. And it does a very good job of it. It's not season 1, but it's still very, very good at what it does, and it takes a very adult view of the world that you don't really see in many TV shows, let alone superhero TV shows these days. And that's why if you're willing to put up with the very, very adult content in this show, I give it a 9 out of 10. It was a very good season that kept me gripped till the end, and it just had a worldview that we haven't seen in a long time, and it's a complete rejection of this politically correct blame other people mindset, and it is glorious to see on screen for once. So that is my final verdict on this. I know it's not a popular one, but that is how I felt watching it. So, if you haven't seen it yet, try it out and see if you agree with me. As always, this review is supposed to be the end-all, be-all. It's supposed to encourage you to see it and form your own opinions. So do that. Alright. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.